bosses don't talk, we just sit back and listen. Then make boss moves. She liked to argue, so I sent that bitch to law school.
What would you do if the child you prayed for became your worst fear? How far can a mother's love stretch before it breaks? In the quiet town of Wilson, North Carolina, Dana Jenkins celebrated her son's return from prison with hope in her heart. 6 days later, she and her teenage son were brutally murdered, and the truth shattered everything. This is Crime Lab Report, where we uncover the hidden truths behind real-life tragedies. Could this have been prevented? What signs were missed? Buckle up, take a deep breath, and settle in as we unravel the heartbreaking case of Dana Jenkins. In the quiet city of Wilson, North Carolina, nestled among family homes and neatly trimmed lawns, no one expected horror to strike on Snowden Drive. But behind one door, in a house filled with photos, prayers, and a mother's unwavering love, something unthinkable was about to unfold. Dana Vanessa Jenkins had just shared her joy with the world. Her Facebook post, filled with exclamation marks and relief, read like a victory cry. "My baby home, my MF baby, Lord ITHXU." Her 25-year-old son, Daryn, had just been released from prison after 4 years. It was supposed to be a fresh start, a second chance. But 6 days later, Dana was dead. So was her 15-year-old son, Daryn Cox, and the person accused of the double murder, the very son she had just welcomed home with open arms. This wasn't a random act of violence. This wasn't a robbery gone wrong. This was a brutal betrayal born inside a home that once radiated warmth. And the signs, they were there. Only no one saw them clearly enough to stop what was coming. Dana Jenkins had always been known as the heart of her family. A mother of 3, she carried herself with grace and grit. Friends described her as the kind of woman who would feed strangers, pray without hesitation, and sacrifice everything for her kids. But that love, that boundless hope she poured into her oldest son, may have cost her everything. Daryn Jenkins had struggled for years. He'd been in and out of trouble, and in 2021, he was sentenced to prison for a firearm theft and burglary. For 4 years, Dana waited, visiting, writing, praying. She clung to the idea that prison would change him, that he'd come home new, redeemed. When he finally did, she shouted it to the world online. She celebrated loudly. Her words were full of pride, and maybe a bit of desperation, because what people didn't see behind the post was a mother holding her breath, hoping she had made the right choice in letting him back into their home. But Daryn didn't come back whole. He returned with a storm inside him, one that no one around him truly understood. Not Dana, not his little brother, Daryn, and certainly not the community that would soon be left shaken. In the days that followed his return to Wilson, Daryn's behavior was unsettling. Family members later admitted they saw red flags: his restlessness, the strange way he dressed for warm weather, the bandage on his hand. He looked, one cousin said, like he just got out of a mental ward. He wasn't talking much, he kept to himself. And when he did speak, there was an edge to his voice. Dana tried to hold the household together, lightly brushing off the tension as part of the adjustment. Maybe he just needed time, she thought. Maybe he just needed love. But that house, once filled with laughter and gospel music, had become a pressure cooker. Daryn, just 15, was doing well in school. He had dreams, a close circle of friends, a future. The contrast between the brothers, one hopeful, the other lost, may have fed something dangerous inside Daryn. On March 31st, that danger exploded. No one heard screams. No warning call came. It was as if the storm arrived and swallowed everything in silence. By the time police were called for a welfare check, Dana and Daryn were already gone, stabbed to death in their own home. The news hit Wilson a lightning bolt.
Murder in Wilson County. We're learning the suspect is charged with killing his own brother and his mother. Police identifying the victims as 50-year-old Dana Jenkins and her 15-year-old son, Daryn Cox. Jenkins' 25-year-old son, Daryn Jenkins, is now charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. The victims were found inside a home yesterday evening on Snowden Drive. Cindy Bay has new reaction from the family.
A mother and her teenage son dead in what should have been their safest place. And the suspect, her own flesh and blood. People couldn't make sense of it. How could a boy she raised, protected, and prayed for turn into her killer? When officers arrived at the home on Snowdon Drive, the scene was devastating. Dana's lifeless body was found first. The woman who had shouted gratitude just days earlier now lay cold in the very house she tried to rebuild. Nearby, Daryn, just a boy, full of youth and promise, was also found dead. Both had been stabbed multiple times. No mercy, no pause. The brutality of it all painted a picture of rage, not just violence, but something personal, eruptive, and deeply emotional. Daryn was still at the scene. He didn't run, he didn't confess, but his silence said everything. Police took him into custody and charged him with 2 counts of first-degree murder. And just like that, one woman's love story for her son became her death sentence. Her youngest child's future was extinguished. And her oldest, the one she prayed would change, became the face of the tragedy she never saw coming. As the investigation unfolded, the unanswered questions grew heavier. What had happened in those final moments inside that house? Was there an argument? Did Dana try to intervene, to calm him down? Did Daryn walk into something he couldn't unsee? The silence surrounding their last minutes made the story even harder to bear. Family members revealed that Dana had grown worried in the days before her death. She had confided in a relative that Daryn was acting strangely, that something about him felt off, but she didn't want to believe he could hurt her. Not her son, not after everything they'd been through. But the truth is, love doesn't always save, sometimes it blinds. Dana was always a happy woman.
Bosses don't talk, we just sit back and listen. Then make boss moves. She liked to argue, so I sent that bitch to law school. Preach. 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 The only thing I trust is these pistols and these slugs. If that nigga don't work, he a fucking leech. Ain't got 4 nigga, ain't nothing in this fucking world free. Got the motherfucking... Hey! Rest in peace, squad. Y'all better get ready to do this dance on October the 12th. Cause we flexing, baby. We representing a Libra. He was a Libra, baby. Ooh, ooh. Yes. He was a Libra, y'all.
And in this case, Dana's love for her son, if have cost her not just her life, but her youngest child's too. Wilson mourned. A candlelight vigil was held. Friends wore shirts with Dana and Daryn's faces, lighting candles and praying through tears. At Daryn's high school, grief counselors were brought in. At their church, the pews filled with silence instead of praise. 2 lives were taken, 1 family destroyed, and the community left reeling, struggling to make peace with a story that felt more like a nightmare than news. On April 13, 2025, the church was packed for their funeral.
But we're releasing their spirits knowing that God is going to take care of us and He's going to take care of us. So right now,
A single casket held the remains of a mother and her son, side by side in death, just as they were in life. The room swelled with sobs, gospel hymns, and broken hearts. Friends couldn't hold back their tears. Even strangers came to pay respects. Because this tragedy wasn't just about one family. It shook the soul of a city. Dana Jenkins wasn't perfect, but she was devoted. She believed in second chances. She believed her son could heal. And even in her final days, she held on to that hope. That maybe love would be enough. That maybe home would fix what prison broke. Daryn Cox will never graduate high school. He'll never go to prom. He'll never grow into the young man so many saw budding behind his quiet smile. His life was stolen before it could fully begin, all because the one place he trusted most became a place of terror. To the people of Wilson, and to every mother who's ever held out hope for a child in pain, may your love never be taken for granted. May Dana and Daryn rest in peace. And may we all learn to listen more closely before love turns to loss.